Today we're reading Butterflies and Moths. There is no mistaking a butterfly. Its colorful wings skip in the air like petals blown by the wind. Blues, reds, and yellows dance in the sunlight. Some shimmer like tinsel. A creature so beautiful should belong in a fairy tale, but butterflies are real. They dance through the woods and glide over fields. You can see them in parks and backyards, and they always catch your attention. Down here is a caption that says, "The tiger swallowtail is one of the most beautiful butterflies seen flying in the gardens, forests, and meadows." Shown 2 times its actual size. Moths are more secretive. Most fly at night while you are in bed. If you are lucky, you might find one in the morning sleeping by a porch light that has been left on. And if you take a look, you'll see how moths differ from butterflies. Get a little bit closer so you can see. Moths are less colorful than butterflies, and many rest with their wings open, not closed. Moths also often have fatter bodies covered with furry hairs, but it is not always easy to tell the two apart. A few moths are as bright-hued as butterflies and fly in the daytime, while some butterflies are dull as moths, yet both lead similar lives, changing from eggs to caterpillars to adults. Down here is a caption that says, "You can tell a moth from a butterfly by the antenna on its head." A male moth, like this Luna moth, often has feathery antennae, while a female moth has thinner antennae with pointed tips. Butterfly antennae look different because they are thin with distinct knobs at the tips. This is shown 5 times its actual size. Scientists have discovered more than 170,000 different types of butterflies and moths. They live everywhere there are plants for their caterpillars to eat, from high mountains to dry deserts. Most live in rainforest, where there are thousands of different food plants. That is where you will find the world's largest butterfly, the Queen Alexandra's birdwing of New Guinea. It is also where the biggest moth lives, the Atlas moth of Southeast Asia. Both have wingspans of almost a foot. Other moths are so tiny that you need a hand lens to see them. And there are weird moths too. One feeds on the tears of sleeping animals. Another drinks blood. But perhaps the most amazing thing about butterflies and moths is the way they grow up. There are 10 times as many types of moths as butterflies, and their caterpillars are often beautiful. But you better not touch this silkworm moth caterpillar from Costa Rica. Those spines will sting. That's what this is. The life of a butterfly or moth begins with an egg no bigger than a grain of sand. This egg may look like a ball, a barrel, or a saucer. It may have been laid alone or with a group of eggs. Some butterflies lay their eggs on top of each other, like stacks of tiny teacups. About a week after it is laid, each egg will have a tiny dot inside, and the dot will be moving. With the hand lens, you will see that the dot is the head of the caterpillar, chewing a hole to wiggle its way out. All right, here's a caption that says, "As soon as a monarch butterfly caterpillar hatches, it eats its old eggs." And it's shown 45 times its actual size right here. When the caterpillar crawls out, it is barely bigger than a comma, and all it wants to do is eat. First, it may eat its old eggshell. Then it starts on the main course, which is usually under its feet. That is because most caterpillar mothers lay their eggs on the favorite food plant of their young. So after a baby hatches, it just eats everything in sight. And a caterpillar is very good at that. It has strong jaws to chew up chunks of leaf. A caterpillar's body is simple. It has a large stomach and a mouth with sensors like taste buds to help it recognize food. There are 12 or so tiny eyes that can tell dark from light but cannot recognize objects. There are also small hairs on a caterpillar's body which sense touch and warn it about enemies. One neat thing caterpillars do is spin silk from glands near their mouths. Often they stick this to leaves like webbing so that they can move around without falling off their precious food. And to keep an extra tight hold, they also have 6 legs and usually 10 claspers called prolegs, which have hooks like Velcro. This caption says the caterpillar's close up shows 3 prolegs. The small hairs on the caterpillar's body sense touch, and the long spines are stingers. The 3 orange football-shaped dots are breathing holes called spiracles, which let air into the caterpillar's body. And this picture shows the caterpillar is 8 times its actual size. As the hungry caterpillar eats and grows, it becomes too big for its skin. So it molts. The old skin splits open and the caterpillar wiggles out in a brand new skin. Then it often eats the old skin before going back to its favorite job of mulching leaves. Eventually, a caterpillar may eat all of its food plant. Then it has a big problem. Most caterpillars only eat 1 or 2 types of plants, so they must quickly find the right one. Other caterpillars are not as fussy about their food. A few will even eat your old clothes, but most caterpillars just starve unless they find exactly the right food. This caption down here, I don't know if you can see it, says the Cercopia moth caterpillar will grow to 4 inches long and eventually turn into North America's largest moth with a wingspan of about 6 inches.